Om Jnana Trimindasya Jnanangana Salakaya Chaksu Sumrita Yena Tasma Shigurave Nama Sri Chaitanya Manobishta Stapita Yena Bhutale Sanyarupa Kadama Yandadati Sapadantikam Bandeha Siguru Sitan Padakamana Siguru Vaishnavascha Sirupan Sagajata Sagana Raghunanta Tapitan Sajivan Sadhuitan Savadhutan Parjanan Satan Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devan Sri Radha Krishna Padasahagana Lalita Sri Visakhavitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpati Gopesa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Napastate Tapta Kanchana Gorange Radha Bindaneswari Vishabhano Sudadevi Pranamami Haripriya Vanchakapatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhivevacha Patitana Panavibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Primapadayate Krishna Ya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gurati Sinama Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Siva Shri Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Ananda Lila Maya Vigraya Himabada Vichavi Sundaraya Tasma Maha Primrasa Padaya Chitachanda Namad Mastate Chitachanda Yanamad Mastate Chitachanda Mastate. So I welcome everyone to this evening's Bhagavad-Gita class. So I thank everyone for coming. So this course on the Gita is very essential for the devotees to hear talks by Lord Sri Krishna to his dear devotee Arjuna. So Lord Krishna was speaking, and he's speaking to his devotee Arjuna. Bhakta Shime Shaka Chaiti, that I'm talking to you Arjuna because you are my devotees. So normally Lord Krishna does not speak to non-devotees. He does not interact with non-devotees. Actually, he does not interact with materialistic people. He only interacts only with his devotees. He performs his lila with his devotees, and when he wants to give his message, he gives message through his devotees, not directly to the public. Like Lord Krishna told Arjuna, he said, Kontaya Pradijanihi Name Bhaktya Pranashyati. He said, my dear Arjuna, declare very boldly. Be drum, boldly, make a declaration. My devotees will never perish. So Krishna told Arjuna to make this declaration that Krishna devotee will never perish. So therefore, it said, Yatra Yogeshwaro Krishna, Yatra Pato Danodara, Tatrasri Vijayo Moti, Dhruvaniti Mati Mama. This is the last verse of the Bhagavad Gita, spoken by Sanjay, that wherever there is Krishna, and wherever there is Arjuna, there's always victory, opulence, and everything. So, and of course, as they say, that Krishna Bhakti Sudulabha, that to be a devotee of Krishna is very, very rare. To become Krishna Das is very, very rare. Everyone in this material world is Maya Das. Maya Das, Maya Dasi. That's a fact. So to become Krishna Das is very rare thing. Very rare. It's very rare to become Harijan. This is the word that they take very granted. They take for granted in here in India. That Harijan, like when the so-called, underprivileged have been abused here in India. So they are given a name, Harijan. The lost people. But Harijan is not for just anyone. Harijan means those who belong to Hari, the servant of Hari. Those are Harijans. But of course, here this word is being misused here. Harijan, anybody's Harijan. So to become a Harijan or to become a Krishna Das is a very glorious thing. We are trying to be a devotee of Krishna. And much more importantly, we are trying to be a devotee of Srimati Radharani. Actually, Krishna becomes much more happy if you want her to be a devotee of Srimati Radharani, not to be a devotee of Krishna. Just like Raghunath Das Goswami, he said that if I see Krishna standing alone, I will not go to him. But if I see Krishna standing with Srimati Radharani, I will run there with the speed of the mind without being called. So devotees, their Ishtadev is actually Srimati Radhika, because she's the only one who knows what Krishna wants. Krishna says, Devi Pada Palava Mudharan, that, my dear Devi, I worship your lotus feet. And who's the Devi? Radharani. Krishna says, I'm worshiping you, I want to worship your lotus feet. So Krishna is begging for the service of Srimati Radharani. So you can just see. So which means if we become our servants, then Krishna becomes much more happy with us. So the topic of today's discussion is about how to control the mind so that the mind can be directed towards the service of Lord Krishna. So that's the topic of today's discussion. We are on the Bhagavad-Gita, chapter 17, and today's verse is text 16. It's about the divisions of faith. And of course, this division of faith, this is according to the three modes of material nature, the three gunas. So everyone in this material world is characterized by what type of material, what type of mode they are under. So everyone is influenced by one mode or the other, either the Satogun or Rajagun or Stamagun. So everyone has some kind of influence. So that's what we call samskara. So our nature is according to what kind of influence we are on by this material nature. So material nature, these three modes, controls everyone. So these three modes is the aspect of material energy, material nature. So you have Satagun, Rajagun, and Tamagun, which is discussed in the chapter 14 of the Bhagavad-Gita. And this discussion goes on, and of course in the chapter 16, the chapter before this one, the characteristics of those in the mode of passion and ignorance were discussed in the form of demoniac personalities, demoniac propensities. Because basically, those who are demoniac, they are very much influenced by the mode of passion and mode of ignorance. So we all chant together the text number 16. Mana pasada samyotwan monan atma vinigraha bhava samsadyutyetat tapo mana samuchyate. Manas prashadaha, satisfaction of the mind. Somyatvam, being without duplicity towards others. Monam, gravity. Atma, of the self. Vinigraha, control. Bhava, of one's nature. Samsuddhi, purification. Iti, thus. Etat, this. Tapaha, austerity. Manasam, of the mind. uchyate is said to be. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti-Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. And satisfaction, simplicity, gravity, self-control, and purification of one's existence are the austerities of the mind. Purport. To make the mind austere is to detach it from sense gratification. It should be so trained that it can be always thinking of doing good to others. The best training for the mind is gravity in thought. One should not deviate from Krishna consciousness and must always avoid sense gratification. To purify one's nature is to become Krishna conscious. Satisfaction of the mind can be obtained only by taking the mind away from thoughts of sense enjoyment. The more we think of sense enjoyment, the more the mind becomes dissatisfied. In the present age, we unnecessarily engage the mind in so many different ways for sense gratification, and so there is no possibility of the mind's becoming satisfied. The best course is to divert the mind to the Vedic literature, which is full of satisfying stories, as in the Puranas and the Mahabharata. One can take advantage of this knowledge and thus become purified. The mind should be devoid of duplicity, and one should think of the welfare of all. Silence means that one is always thinking of self-realization. The person in Krishna consciousness observes perfect silence in this sense. Control of the mind means detaching the mind from sense enjoyment. One should be straightforward in his dealings and thereby purify his existence. All these qualities together constitute austerity in mental activities. Mana Pashada Samyocham Maunam Atma Vinigraha Bhava Samsudi Itietat Tapo Manasamuchite. And satisfaction, simplicity, gravity, self-control, and purification of one's existence are the austerities of the mind. So in the past two verses, so Lord Krishna has been describing what constitutes the austerity in terms of austerity of the body, austerity of speech, and austerity of the mind in this instance. So in text 14, the Lord has said, Devadvija Guru Pragyan Pujanan Sochan Ajavan Brahmachayan Aimsacha Sariran Tapo Uchite. That austerity of the body consists in worship of the Supreme Lord, the Brahmanas, the spiritual master, and superiors like the father and mother, and in cleanliness, simplicity, celibacy, and non-violence. These are the austerity of the body. And then the Lord talks about the austerity of speech. Anodvega karam vakyan satan priya itam chayat swadhyaya Vyasanam chayava bam mayan tapo uchite. So the austerity of speech consists in speaking words that are truthful, pleasing, beneficial, and not agitating to others, and also in regularly reciting Vedic literature. This is austerity of the speech. There is the word. There's often said that nonsense talks brings nonsense speech, and nonsense speech brings nonsense actions, and of course nonsense actions bring repetition of birth and death. You see, so basically, as they said, that a person is the reflection of their thought. Basically, what you are thinking, your actions, and your activities is a reflection of your thoughts, of your thinking. So just like the Vedic scriptures advocate Mona. Mona means silence, which means when one wants to practice a spiritual life, then silence must be there. Now, when we say silence, what does this mean? Does that mean that, don't talk at all? Just put a zip on your mouth and never say anything? Just like some time ago, I was in Maharashtra, I was in Goa, and I visited this so-called spiritual coming just outside our temple in Pune. This spiritual group in their ashram, when I went, I was just observing their ashram, and you will see some people, they will have the clothes, not even clothes, they just say they don't talk to anyone because they are observing silence. He said, today I'm observing silence, not talking to anyone. But of course, because their so-called silence is misdirected, because it's all based on sense gratification. Because the next day, they are back talking nonsense. The next day, that's the so-called austerity of materialists, like that. They will do something for some time, and then again, because all their actions is all directed towards sense gratification, then they get back to the same old thing, talking nonsense. But devotees, or those who are in practice spiritual life, when we say silence means to become thoughtful about spiritual matters. Of course, a devotee is silent because he doesn't want to see anything that does not enhance spirituality. Just like, okay, we chant. Every morning we wake up 3 o'clock, whatever time we wake up in the morning, and then we do chanting. We come to the temple, we attend Mangalatis, attend spiritual program, we are singing and dancing, and after that, then we do japa again. We do japa till about 7 o'clock. Then we come to hear Bhagavatam class. Either we speak or we hear Bhagavatam class. So in this way, our mouth is constantly engaging, but it's considered to be silence. Why? Because it's not engaging in spiritual items. In material items. It's engaging in spiritual thought, spirituality. In the Bhagavad-Gita, Gopal Kumar was traveling. So when he was in Janaloka, and that time he could see that all the sages, no one was talking. And also he could not even see, because normally everyone is always in thought of the Supreme Lord. So he was searching for the Supreme Lord. He could not see anyone. He could not see the Lord. And at the same time, he saw that all these sages, great sages, they're always in a deep thought of meditation. No one was talking to him. So he was wondering how to get someone to talk to him. And especially he was searching for the Lord. He was saying, where's the Lord? So Pipalayana Muni, so he approached him, give him lessons, said that, look, here in the higher planet, everyone is able to see the Lord constantly. Why? Because with their mind, they are constantly engaging in the meditation on the Lord. They constantly engage in the Lord's meditation. And the fact that the mind is the master of all the senses. So basically, when the mind is engaged this way, it's constantly thinking of the Lord, meditation on the Lord. So the Lord is, all the senses, they are automatically controlled. All the senses, they automatically focused. Because the mind has been controlled in such a way that it only focuses on the thought of the Lord. So in this way, Gopal Kumar was being advised that he should also, engage in meditation, engage his mind in thinking of the meditating on the Lord this way. So here this instruction. However, when he get to then he entered the spiritual world. So when you enter the spiritual world, the first person, normally when you enter the spiritual world, after the Brahma Jyoti, then you enter the Shiva planet. The Shiva planet is there. And what is the activities there? There's always constant Sankirtan. Non-stop. There's always non-stop Sankirtan in the spiritual world. Lord Shiva is always engaged in Sankirtan, whereby Ganeshji, every associate Lord Shiva, they all engage in Sankirtan. That's what they do non-stop in Lord Shiva's planet. So when Gopal Kumar entered the spiritual world, and he saw this just activity that everyone is engaging in Sankirtan, in glory, in chanting and dancing about the Supreme Lord. And then I think it was Ganesh who was giving this advice to Gopal Kumar that yes, the best method of sense control is towards the engagements of when the mouth is engaged in chanting the glorification of the Lord, that all the senses, everything is automatically controlled through Nam Sankirtan. In this way, the mind becomes very focused. That way. So in this way, the superiority of engaging the mouth, the speech in Nam Sankirtan was established by Sri Ganesh himself. So in this way, so these three things, austerity of the mind, the body, and the mind, and the speech, is being explained here in this verse of the Bhagavad-Gita. In the Upadeshamrita, Rupa Goswami also said that Vachu Vegan, Manasakura Vegan, Jiva Vegan, Udodipasita Dira, that if one can control the mind, the speech, the mind's the mind, the urges of the tongue, the urges of the mouth, the speech, if one can control these urges, then one can actually conquer the whole world. Such a person is known as a Goswami. Such a person is known as Goswami, and such a person is free to become the spiritual master of the whole world, if one is able to control the urge to speak, the speech. And this is why the Lord describes it as austerity. This is austerity in the mode of goodness, because the people who are in the mode of goodness, they would not engage themselves in any unnecessary activities. They only engage themselves only in those activities which are elevating. So the mind, which is being described here, so it's been said here that the satisfaction of the mind, the simplicity, the gravity, and self-control, and purification of one's existence, these are the austerities of the mind. How the mind can be brought under control. So and of course, as Prabhupada also mentioned in the purport, that the mind must be diverted towards the activities of Krishna consciousness. Because if the mind should deviate towards what is the activity of Krishna consciousness, what happened is that they might simply think of materialistic objects. But to bring the mind to this control is very, very difficult to control the mind. Very difficult. And this was expressed by Arjuna himself in the Bhagavad-Gita. So Arjuna said, Chanchalahi mana Krishna pranati balabhadridam tashaham nigraham manye vayo eva sudus charam. So Arjuna was telling Krishna, was asking Krishna, he said, my dear Lord, my dear Krishna, the mind is restless. The mind is restless. Disturbing the senses all the time, very powerful, and very tenacious, and control the mind is more difficult to control the wind. So which means you can try to control the wind. Of course, it is almost impossible to control the wind unless you're a big yogi. Unless you're a big yogi, you can control it. But Arjuna said to control the mind is much more difficult than control the wind. Because the mind is a chanchala, always very, very restless. Because the mind is always thinking of sense gratification to another sense gratification. Even when one is practicing a spiritual life, the mind is always thinking of sense objects. Even when one is practicing spiritual life, that sometimes one day we are very, very focused, One day we are very enthusiastic in the spiritual life, and then the next day is something different. The next day is something different. I mean, we can all see this, examine this in our practical, Krishna consciousness. We know that how the mind is always different. The mind is always going, here and there, all the time. So Lord Krishna said, Asam Sanyan Mahabhavo Mano Dunigraham Chalam Abhyasena tu Konteya Varagyena cha Kriyate. He said, my dear Arjuna, O mighty Anwan, yes, undoubtedly, it's very difficult to control the mind. It's very difficult to subdue, the mind, the naturally restless mind. But it can be accomplished through constant practice and detachment, through rigorous exercise, because the mind is so difficult to control. But the Lord said, yes, it's difficult to control, but it's possible if through practice and through detachment. Detachment must be there. And why? We know that Krishna, he addressed Arjuna as Mahabhavo, means mighty I'm one, which means Arjuna, you are a very strong person. You are able to control. You can be able to control the mind. So this is what the Lord is saying. Like we mentioned this a few times, how Srila Bhaktivedanta said that the mind is very, very tenacious, very difficult. So therefore, he said, when I wake up in the morning, I beat my mind 100 times with shoe, 100 times. And before I sleep nighttime, I again beat the mind 100 times with shoe, Because the mind is always thinking of those things which has nothing to do with Krishna consciousness, how to sense gratification. And without bringing the minds under control, one cannot practice Krishna consciousness. It's just not possible. Because when the mind is controlled, then the senses are controlled. Otherwise, the senses are there to carry out all the demands of the mind. The mind desires some palatable foodstuff to taste. So the senses goes and procure it. The mind desires to hear some beautiful music. So one want to go and find out how to hear the senses of touch, all these things. So that's why the mind is the most important element, which must be brought under control. Now, of course, bringing the mind under control is not, it's not that we follow the recommended the process of the yogis, whereby the yogis, they try to bring the minds under control by so many rigorous means. They will spend years and years and years of austerity to bring the mind under control. But eventually, they always fail, they always succumb again to the object of the senses. We find the case of Subari Muni. Subari Muni, he does not want to think of any form of sense gratification. But what he did is, okay, the only way for me to avoid seeing things, think of anything of sense gratification, is for me to meditate under the river, under the water, so that I will not see anything. So Subari Muni, so he went inside the water, completely submerged himself in the river, totally submerged himself, and he was meditating. And of course, because he was a yogi, so he was able to stay under the water. He was totally submerged. And he was doing this meditation for a long period of time. But one time, just he decided to open his eyes one time. So normally when you meditate, your eye is closed. But he opened his eye and he saw two fish. They were copulating. He saw two fish were copulating, and then immediately sex desire arose within his mind. I said, oh, let me try this. Even though he has been meditating for a long period of time, he wants to be totally detached himself from all kind of materialistic entanglement. So seeing the fish who are copulating, so he came out of the water, out of the river, and then he went to King Mandata. He said, oh, my dear king, I want to marry one of your daughters. Give me one of your daughters to marry. So, because it was a great sage, so the king said, okay, I have no objection. I have 50 daughters. So, I don't know which of my daughters will want to marry you, because, he has been staying under the river for a long period of time. He has become, his body is completely ugly, like that. So, the king said, well, I'm not sure which of my daughters will want to marry you. So, if any of them want to marry you, that's up to them. So the sage said, okay, don't worry, I'm a yogi. So he immediately transformed himself into a beautiful young man, attractive young man. He transformed himself into, So when it's a very attractive young man, so when all the 50 daughters came, they all saw him very attractive. They said, oh, what a beautiful person. We all want to marry him. So, he ended up marrying 50 daughters. He married 50 daughters of the king. So he became the husband of, 50 wives. So you can just imagine, from being a sage in the river, a yogi, he became the husband of 50 wives, which means, of course, he became a big grihastha, So that goes on. Vishwamitra also, for a long period of time, he was meditating, he was trying to control the mind. Still, he will always be subjected to anger. So many he will always be subjected to. So which means one can try so much to artificially control the mind, but still, unless Krishna is there, then there can always be problem. Unless Krishna is there, because after all, Krishna is a Rishikesh. So Krishna is Rishikesh. He said that Rishikesh back to Uchete, that if all the senses are applied towards Krishna, then ultimately the senses all become satisfied. Ultimately. So that's why the great personality, our great Acharya, Srila Raghunath Goswami, he composed very beautiful prayers called the Manasiksha, which means instruction to the mind. So he composed these prayers called instruction to the mind, whereby he's admonishing his own mind, is instructing his own mind how the mind can be focused on Krishna. Very, very wonderful prayers. So in the verse 1, he said, Gurau Goshte Gusla Yeshu Sujane Busurgane Swamante Sinamne Bajinama Jiba Dunda Sarane Sada Damban Itakuru Ratin Apovan Atitaram Haye Santa Bratatubi Abyache Drita Padaha. So this is instruction to the mind by which this Raghunath Goswami is addressing his mind. So the same way also, we have to address our mind every day. We have to address, because our mind is actually our main enemy. No one is our enemy. It's our mind. Sometimes we say that, oh, this person is giving me trouble, that person is giving me trouble. No. What is giving us trouble is our mind. Nobody else giving us trouble. If our mind can be made under control, then we will not perceive any trouble in Krishna consciousness. That's why the advanced devotees who have yielded to this instruction, who have adopted this kind of this mood, those advanced devotees, they're always happy. They're always happy. Because they're happy because they know the real enemy. So the real enemy is the mind. And if the mind can be brought under control, then happiness is there. As Lord Krishna said that the mind can be your greatest enemy, the mind can also be your greatest friend. After all, you need the mind to think of Krishna. There's no other way you can think of it. So if the mind is brought under control, his mind is brought to be focused on Krishna, then it's possible to make advancement in Krishna consciousness. So therefore, Raghunath Goswami, he had composed these beautiful verses called Manasiksha. So he said, "Oh my dear brother," brata means brother, that is his mind, my dear mind. He's addressing the mind as his brother. He said, "My dear brother, oh, you are so foolish. Taking hold of your faith, I humbly pray to you with sweet words. Please give up all pride, hypocrisy, and quickly develop deep loving attachment for the spiritual master, Sri Brajadam, the residents of Braj, the Vaishnavas, the Brahmanas, your Diksha mantras, the holy names of the Supreme Lord, and the shelter of Sri Sri Radha Krishna, the eternally youthful divine couple of Braja." So this is the instruction that is being given to the mind. So he say, I'm making a prayer to the mind. He say, "My dear brother, my dear foolish mind, this is my humble appeal to you. This is my humble appeal to you. That give up pride, give up any sense of abhiman, that I am mine, give it up, and simply develop love for the Vaishnavas, for the Vijayabasis, Brajadam, the Vaishnavas, the Guru, the Brahmanas, Diksha mantra, and above all, to the shelter of the lotus feet of Sri Radha Krishna." So this prayer was nicely dissected by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, whereby he's saying that the first four is a Guru, Guru means the first thing is the Guru, whereby the Guru, because spiritual life, that the shelter of the spiritual master is very, very essential in a spiritual life. And there are two ways by which a person can be considered a servant of the Guru. Two ways. One can be just ordinary disciples, Normally, majority of devotees are like ordinary disciple. Okay, Guru tell you to do something. Okay, you do it. Something is not clear. You go and ask the Guru to do it. But another type of devotee, is disciple, is that who render Vishramba seva to the Guru, loving service of the Guru, whereby such disciple does not have to wait for what is to be done. He spontaneously understands what is to be done for the pleasure of the spiritual master. He doesn't wait to understand, to be told what to do. He already know what pleases the Guru. And such a person can render loving service unto the spiritual master. And in spiritual life, in Krishna consciousness, the worship of the Guru is actually much, much higher than the worship of Krishna himself. Is much more higher than the worship of Krishna himself. Like one time, during the pastimes of Mahaprabhu. So one time, Lord Chaitanya was coming. He was walking along with Nityananda Prabhu. Of course, Nityananda Prabhu is known as the Guru. So Lord Nityananda Prabhu was coming, and Chaitanya Prabhu was coming, and it was Murari Gupta. So he met both the lords, but first of all, offer his obeisances to Mahaprabhu first. Then before offer obeisances to Nityananda Prabhu. So Mahaprabhu faltered him, said that, oh, you've done the wrong thing. You've done the wrong thing. You know, by offering first obeisances to me before you offer obeisances to Nityananda Prabhu. So the next day, so when Murari Gupta, when he saw the two lords coming, so now he first of all offers obeisances to the Nityananda Prabhu and then to Mahaprabhu. Why? Because Nityananda Prabhu, he is called the Guru. He is the Samasta Guru. He is the combination of all the Gurus. So we have Samasta Guru, and then we have a Vyasta Guru. So he is the Guru. And you know, when you see Krishna first, you first for obeisances made to the Guru first, before obeisances made to Krishna. Because why? Without the Guru, one cannot understand Krishna. He is the Guru who will reveal Krishna to us. So therefore, and when the Guru is worshipped, then Krishna becomes very happy. As they said that a Guru is the transparent via media, you know, of Krishna. And of course, such Guru must be, you know, high class, must be Bhagavad himself. So therefore, we have all kind of gurus as there. There's Vatman Pradaksha Guru is there. There is the Diksha Guru. There is the Siksha Guru. There's also the Antayami Guru. So all the gurus are there, and they ought to be, you know, or no, equally, you know, Vatman Pradaksha Guru, the one who shows you the way, must always be honored. Of course, Diksha Guru and of course Siksha Guru, both are equal, both are equally worshipped. Then there's Antayami Guru, who is actually the super soul himself. So all are there. So all the gurus must be honored. So the prayer here is, okay, the first is a guru that yes, you must have love and affection for the spiritual master. And then Gosta means the Shibraja Dam. So which means that this is very important instruction that, okay, you're here Vrindavan, so you're here Vrindavan, and then you are seeing all kinds of faults. Just like, okay, you're in Vrindavan. Actually, when you come to Vrindavan, as Lasla Prabhupada always said that you cannot go to Vrindavan with a ticket. You can't come to Vrindavan with a ticket. You can only go to Vrindavan only with your heart, not with a ticket. Because you go to Vrindavan with a ticket, you buy your round trip ticket, you come to Vrindavan, what do you see? Pigs, sewage, all those things. That's what you see in Vrindavan. Because you've come as a tourist, you know, you see a garbage, that's what you see. You cannot really see the real Vrindavan. Because the real Vrindavan is where Krishna Lila is always going on 24 hours a day. You know, Sriya Kanta Kanta Paramaprusa Kapatarabo, has been described by Lord Brahma. It is a land of purposive gems, whereby people are walking. When people walk, it's like dancing. When people speak, it's like singing, That is actually Vrindavan. We cannot say because our eyes is completely covered. So therefore, there must be the good mentality towards Vrindavan. Otherwise, one will be deprived from the goal of life. One will be deprived from attaining the goal of life. And then Gostalayim. So Gostalayim means the residents of Braja, the residents of Vrindavan. And of course, when we talk of residents of Vrindavan, we are talking of pure devotees. The pure devotees, they are the actual Brajabasi, who are in the deep love of Krishna. That itself, it's another topic itself. And then it says, Sujana, the Vaishnavas, the respect should always be given to the Vaishnava. The Vaishnava should never be criticized. The Vaishnava should never be seen as being belonging to a particular caste or creed. The Vaishnava is very dear to Lord Krishna, they are very, very dear to Lord Vishnu. The Vaishnava should always be held in a very, very high esteem. It doesn't matter what level of Vaishnava, you can be Kanishta, Madhyama, or Uttama. The Vaishnava must always be held in a very high esteem. And then Bhusuragana. Now, there are many people here in Vrindavan who are just especially the Brahmanas, who are like the smarter Brahmanas. They're just doing their own thing, their own activities. They do the pujas, and they're not like, it's not that they're not like pure Vaishnavas. But they're doing activities. Such person also should never be disrespected. They should never be looked down upon condescendingly. That, oh, we are Vaishnavas and these are just some Brahmanas just interested in just like if you go to Radhakund or you go to Vasana, you see all these people, they always running after you and they want your donation. If you don't give your donation, they just if you don't give them and they keep running after you, then you become angry at them like that. So this kind of people, these are called Brahman, they should never be treated that way. They should be honored. This is the instruction of Srila Rupa Goswami. Then he says, Swa mantra, your Diksha mantras, very, very important. When we are giving initiation, we are giving mantra to chant, the Diksha mantra. Our Gayatri mantra should be honor. It should be chanted with deep love, with deep honor. Because the Lord himself is present within the Gayatri mantra. Is present within the Gayatri mantra. And then, of course, Sri Harinam, the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. Like, there are 5. Now, Sri Rupa Goswami, he had listed 64 items of devotional service, 64 principles, which he had listed. But among those 64 principles, 5 of them are considered to be the most important. And those 5 are Sadhu Sangha, Nam Kirtan, Bhagavad Shravan, hearing Bhagavatam, the Murti Seva, to worship the deity, and to Brajabas, to live in Vrindavan. Those are the 5 in principle that's to be considered to be the most important in devotional aspect. So the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra should be done with love. It should be chanted with love. That if one is chanting, that one should not see the difference between Krishna and his holy name. They are not different. Krishna is not different from his name. So when we are chanting, we see Krishna himself. And then, of course, then he said, Brajana Bhakti-yoga does that surrender to the divine youthful copy of Vrindavan. So we have our Ishtadev, Sise, Radha Samasunda, whereby there should be full surrender. There should be no consideration. When we say surrender, means that there should be no partiality, or there should be no expectation. Surrender means 100% surrender. That's what it means. No expectation of any kind of reward. Surrender means just surrender unto them. And if we do that, then the Lord, of course, we can actually see the Lord smiling at us if he had that such full surrender. And then he said, Dhamma ito, which means now the giving up of pride must be there. One has to give up pride. One has to give up hypocrisy. There must be the giving up of pride must be there, because unless we give up pride, we give up hypocrisy, all these things we have been talking about will not be possible. All this we have been talking about. So and then apuvadrati, the pure spiritual attachment, which is the intrinsicity of the soul, because the jiva is by nature Krishna's servant. So this must be there. I'm a servant of Krishna, and my constitutional nature is that of a servant. I'm never master under any circumstance. That's our constitutional position. And then he said at the Taram Kuru that the intense endeavor must be there, which means that one must always be serious. Seriousness must be there. One should not give chance to engage in any form of loose talks. When we meet other devotees, what we'll do when we meet other devotees, we just engage. Oh my dear Prabhu, how are you? Who disturbed you today? No, we remind each other about topics related to Krishna. How we encourage one another about devotional service to Krishna. So which means a devotee is the one who is always encouraging. Just like one of Srila Prabhupada's disciples, the godbrother, he will say that in the spiritual world, because here in this material world, everyone is simply here judging us. That's why you call it the land of justice. Everyone is simply judging us according to what we'll do. Whereas in the spiritual love and in the spiritual world, everything is based on loving character. Everyone is based off encouraging. Everyone is always encouraging each other about devotional service to Krishna, about how to increase one's love towards Krishna. So in the spiritual world, no one will judge you. No one will judge you in the spiritual world. Everyone simply will encourage you in whatever you do. Whereas here in the material, and that's why this material world is such a nasty place, because everyone is always busy judging, criticizing you on the what you are doing. So anyway, there's a lot more we can talk about this, because it's a very, 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 very interesting discussion, especially dealing with the mind. So somehow or other we have to make the mind becoming our friend somehow or other. And the best way to do that is to associate with advanced devotees. We should find a devotee that we can associate with, whose thought is always high thoughts. His thought is very, very high. Such a person does not, meddle in all the things of this world. The thought is high. That person is always aiming high. So we should somehow or other find ourselves in such association of such a person. And if you do so, then it will be possible for us to bring, because our mind will be drawn towards that person's characteristics. And then the mind will eventually become subdued. Then it's easy to become, then the chanting becomes more easier. Everything becomes much more easier once the mind becomes under control that way. So this Manasiksha is a very important book. It's a small book. I think you can get it in the store. So I will encourage everyone to read this book and actually, read it again and again. It will teach you how to address your mind. Manasiksha. Do you know about the book, Manasiksha? Huh? Do you know about the book? You don't know about the book, Manasiksha? You haven't seen before? Srila Bhakti-yoga Thakur, he wrote a very nice commentary on that book. It's very, very, you can get it in the store. Okay, thank you very much. If there's any question or comment. Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So in the beginning you were speaking about that we should have the mercy of Radharani and Guru and this one, then only Krishna will be pleased.
Yeah.
But when in Bhagavad-Gita, if you read this 1866, if you read this one, then you come to know what Krishna is saying. So can you read and say what is the difference between we are speaking that we should have mercy of Guru, we should have mercy of Radharani, we should have mercy of one. But in 1866, what Krishna is saying? Can you?
Well, in 1866, Krishna says, Savadama Pratyagya, Mami Kanswanam Braja, Ahantan Sapapibio Mokshim Masucha. That Krishna telling Arjuna that just give up all fear. Don't give up everything. Just come to me and do not be afraid. Do not be feared that if I surrender unto Krishna, what will happen to me? If I surrender, give up family, society, what's going to happen if I just give up everything and surrender unto Krishna? So Krishna said, Mahasucha, do not fear. Just surrender unto me. Now, we have to know one thing. First of all, Arjuna is a Krishna's devotee. So that instruction is not that Krishna is trying to tell Arjuna to come and surrender unto him. Arjuna already surrendered unto Krishna as a Krishna dear devotee. Otherwise, Krishna will not be driving his chariot on the battle of Kurukshetra. Krishna doesn't just become anybody's chariot driver. Sarati, chariot driver, is not a glorious position to become somebody's, just like you have in your car and you have your chokita, you have your driver, so somebody who's driving you. Your driver is not being a driver of someone, it's not a glorious position. But the Lord has taken such a menial position of his own devotee. So you must just imagine how high class such a person is. When Krishna is driving, the chariot of his devotee, Arjuna. When Jordan met Arjuna, they met Krishna and Dwaka before the battle of Kurukshetra. So, and Krishna gave them a choice. He said, okay, both of you have to make a choice. Either you take my army, Narayan Sena, which has vast numbers, big armies, big commanders. You take my army, or you take me, and I'm not going to carry any weapon, and I'm not going to fight. So, you can make a choice. Immediately, Drona said, I will take your army. Because he thought that, Krishna is going to give his army. That's very big, because Krishna's army is a huge army. But Arjuna say, I'm so glad. My dear Lord, I choose you only. You are my only possession. I only choose you. So, that's what great, because the devotees know you have Krishna, you have everything. So now, coming to your question, that how come, Krishna said that we surrender unto me, and we are saying that surrender unto Srimati Radharani, or surrender unto Krishna's pure devotees. Why? Because in the devotional service of the Lord, if you surrender to what is dear most to Krishna, that is the highest level of bhakti. That is the highest level of bhakti. Normally, in our beginning stage, we are calling out to Krishna, calling on Krishna. Hey Krishna, hey Yadava. We are calling out to Krishna. But in our higher stage, we want to become a humble servant of Srimati Radharani, because while Krishna himself is serving Radharani. He said that I want to worship your lotus feet. Krishna is saying that. So just imagine, you surrender yourself to Srimati Radharani. And of course, we have to really understand this science very well. Because after all, Radharani is Krishna's own internal potency. Krishna derives his pleasure only with Srimati Radharani. It's only her who gives pleasure to Krishna. Since Krishna is real worshipper, we can't worship Krishna. We don't even know what Krishna wants. Do you know what Krishna wants? You don't know what Krishna wants. But Radharani knows what Krishna wants. So therefore, we worship Radharani, automatically Krishna becomes happy with you, because she knows what Krishna wants, and she's the only one who can actually recommend you unto Krishna. Because as they said that Radharani, she has been cooking for Krishna, since eternity. Every day she will make hundreds and hundreds of preparation every day, and she never repeat the same dishes every day. That's when Bhagavatam said that Anayaradika Ananam Govinda Ishwara, in that famous verse of 10th canto Bhagavatam, that girl who has worshipped Krishna the most, then she's the one who has been taken away by Govinda. This is the gopis they were saying this. That, oh, she must have worshipped Krishna the most. Otherwise, how would Krishna just disappear in the forest with her alone and leaving us behind? You see? That yes, Govinda has become happy with her, that's why he took her away. It means because she worshipped Krishna the most. So therefore, our greatest aspiration is to become a dear devotee of Srimati Radharani. That's why Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, he is known as Vasabhanabi Daitadas. That's his name. Vasabhanabi Daitadas means the servant of Radharani. You know. So anyway, we can go on and on with this. We can go on and on.
I agree with your point, whatever you have said.
Mm-hmm.
But that means the statement which Krishna is making in Bhagavad-Gita. So that how we can understand, that is my point.
Yeah, I know. To understand this, yeah.
I understood your points, whatever you go to this one, that one.
Okay.
At the point of Bhagavad-Gita, what Krishna is saying to Arjuna, and he is speaking with Arjuna and he is giving this statement, so how do you see this statement?
Yeah, because this is the calling out. He's talking to Arjuna, and Arjuna is talking to us. So that's a call that Arjuna is telling us, surrender to Krishna. And then when you come forward to surrender to Krishna, and you start learning the science of surrendering to Krishna, to Krishna. That yes, we have been called out to come and serve Krishna. Yes, so we come out now, and now then you start getting deeper and deeper, and the more you go deeper in the science of bhakti, the more you know what is this surrender means. The more you know. You know. So in the ordinary life, we are taught to surrender to Krishna ordinarily, but again, we have to dive into it. When our mind becomes completely purified, when there's no more fear, when there's no more attachment to this material world, then at that moment, we start diving into the realm, into the actual thing. So as we are diving into that ocean, then we start knowing, oh, what is this bhakti? What is this surrender? This actually means to surrender to what is dearest to Krishna. But ordinarily, yeah, we surrender to Krishna ordinarily, you know. But else in the Bhagavad-Gita has different levels of instruction. It has different levels of instruction, and it requires different levels of intellect to understand that. You see, it requires different levels of intellect to understand it. And that's why normally we show, if you hear from a Rasik Vaishnava, then this understanding can be made if you hear from these Rasik Vaishnavas. Okay. So anyway, thank you very much. You want to say something? Okay.
Beginning of when Arjuna is perplexed, that time, he surrenders to Krishna as his disciple.
Mm-hmm.
Guru disciple relationship established between Arjuna and Krishna.
Yeah.
Similarly, Guru is surrendered to Guru. Original Guru is Krishna.
Yeah, exactly.
Guru was said that.
Yeah, he's the original Guru, of course.
There is no difference. So surrendering to Guru, start to go to Krishna.
Yeah, so that's why Raghunadas Goswami said it begins with verse that is a Guru Gosta Gosla. You see that you must develop love for Guru. Love for Guru must be there. You know, of course, Guru means Krishna. You have Samasti Guru, and you have Vyasti Guru. Samasti Guru means the combination of all the Gurus. It's Krishna himself, Nityananda Balaram. And then Vyasti Guru means individual Guru. Individual Guru is the manifestation of that Samasti Guru, like that. Okay. So, some of you came very late. So it's always very, very interesting to have discussion on the Bhagavad-Gita, Bhagavatam. Okay, thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki. Go, Pimananda.